What's up, YouTube? How you doing? That's better. It's time for a review of the Serpentine Dominion self-titled debut, out 2 Fridays ago, October 28th. Death metal supergroup, masterminded by Killswitch Engage's Adam D, and also featuring Shannon Lucas from Black Dahlia Murder and All That Remains, and of course the mighty George Corpse Grinder of Cannibal Corpse. And you've also got Killswitch Engage's Jesse Leach penning some lyrics with Adam. It's the kind of lineup where you feel like you can't miss, and I was anxiously awaiting this record just because of my fandom of everybody involved. And I was especially curious to hear Adam D's take on the death metal genre, since I'm so used to hearing what he does in Killswitch. Is this project going to incorporate some of those hard rock and metal core elements that are a big factor in the Killswitch sound, or is it going to be a totally different beast? And once it's paired with Corpse Grinder, what's it going to sound like? Because I'm so used to hearing him in Cannibal over Pat O'Brien and Rob Barrett riffs. So, a lot of unanswered questions. The first proper track on here, Vengeance in Me, which was also the lead single back in August, it's a real promising beginning. It kicks off with these dissonant guitar riffs and these manic drums, which together are played with these slightly awkwardly timed rhythms. But where the song really peaks, though, is the extremely groovy chorus, which incorporates these hardcore punk-style gang vocals. It's just a great curveball. The song definitely distinguishes itself from Cannibal or Killswitch or Black Dahlia because it's a bit of a mismatch of everything. You've got blast beats that are Cannibal-esque, but then you've got a chorus that's a little bit more simplistic. You've got that third solo section where things are just straight thrash. And of course you got those gang vocals thrown in there. So it's a bit of a mix of everything, and it's a pretty fucking ripping track. Then the next track, Vanquished Unto Thee. Oh man, this one has a couple of the catchiest riffs on the whole record, in that snarling intro riff, and then during the verses, those old school death metal tremolo picking sections. I really like how Shannon Lucas switches up the feel completely from the first verse to the second verse. It definitely keeps you on your toes. And as for the lyrics, they're pretty much about what the band said they were going to be about, which is getting revenge against people in power who have been oppressive and who have abused that power. But this song also introduces one of the more hit or miss elements on this album, and that's those afterthought clean vocals that are tossed into a lot of these tracks for seemingly not much other reason other than just making them a little more dynamic. Vanquish Unto Thee is one instance where it works, and these cleans, which are sung by Adam D, provide this nice call and response thing for a Corpse Grinder to kind of play off, and it's cool. But then on the song Sovereign Hate, the clean vocal interjections are a real distraction when they show up. It feels like This Darkened Heart era All That Remains, like popping into the door, saying hi, and then just bolting out. To me, it's so out of place that I actually compartmentalize this song into its clumsy death metal / hard rock chorus, and then the rest of it. I just don't like how this song feels like I'm basically listening to meat and potatoes death metal with some elements of the new wave of American heavy metal really awkwardly sprinkled in. The worst offender in this category is the closing track, This Endless War. I cannot stand the cliched lyrics and just the way they're sung cleanly. We will rise, destroy the web of lies. It's like they're trying to squeeze in as many early 2000s Arch Enemy song titles as humanly possible. The clean vocals in that song just kill the entire song for me. But on the riff side of things, as expected, there's definitely a bunch to dig into here across these 9 tracks. I particularly gravitated to that groaning final riff in the song Sovereign Hate. Definitely one of the best moments on the record. As I mentioned earlier, Vanquished Unto Thee has some badass fucking riffing. And the songs Divide, Conquer, Burn, Destroy and On the Brink of Devastation, which, fun fact, On the Brink of Devastation is actually mislabeled in the lyric booklet as Shall We Reap. But those 2 songs are some real, guitar-wise, are some real technical rhythmic workouts, which I definitely appreciated. I do get pretty turned off when things drift into deathcore kind of territory, though, like in the final breakdown of Divide, Conquer, Burn, Destroy, which bored me to tears, or the ending to Jagged Cross Legions, which was equally unexciting. Normally I wouldn't bother to discuss a couple real short moments like that, but given that this record is 26 minutes long, every second counts, and the reality is not every second kept me engaged. There's also the matter of the lead guitar playing on this album, which might get a little nitpicky for some of you, but if this is already a supergroup, why not get a top-of-the-line extreme metal shredder like a Ryan Knight or a James Murphy or a Pat O'Brien to come in and rip it and give these songs the leads that they need, the leads that fit them. On the solo to Divide, Conquer, Burn, Destroy, there's a lick that Adam plays at around 1:19 that's basically an exact replica of a lick he used 5 years ago on the Times of Grace song Worlds Apart, which, if you're curious, in that song it's around 3 minutes 15 seconds. So that kind of bugged me. And there's also solos like the first one in Vanquished Unto Thee, which is basically just a bunch of really corny finger tapping. Listening to these solos on this album, they're totally passable, and some of them are really cool, but I couldn't help but feel like this album could have really used some outside help in that department to kind of spice things up. I don't know, I'm just not as amped on this album as I thought I'd be. It essentially comes out to 7 full songs, a few of which are great: Vengeance in Me, Vanquished Unto Thee, On the Brink of Devastation, and the rest of which are decent, but all have moments in there that I'm not really too keen on. Then the 26-minute runtime is up pretty fast, and I'm kind of left sitting there like, that's pretty cool. You know, it doesn't generate any frenzied excitement or overwhelming desire to hear it again. The musicianship is top-notch, and Corpse Grinder sounds great as always, but there's not, I guess, the big artistic statement that I was kind of expecting, which was maybe unreasonable of me, but just when I first heard about this album, my mind was running wild with the possibilities, you know? Like, what would George Corpse Grinder sound like with a little more melody behind him and lyrics that aren't just gore and maybe some riffing that comes from outside the death metal genre? I got some of those answers, and a bunch of it translated into some really great music, but overall I'm just feeling a little underwhelmed. But still, there's definitely chunks to really like here, and I would definitely take it over any old record. So check it out if you haven't yet, and see if maybe you vibe with it a little more than I did. Serpentine Dominion gets a 6 out of 10 from me. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or shoot me a message so we can continue to talk music, and I'll see you guys soon.